So last time in our anime, we saw that Prince Gerard had set his sights on Lin after being rejected by her sister. That title of prince made him believe the world belonged to him, and he began insulting Alan to the lowest degree. Lin couldn't take it anymore and challenged him to a duel, but the fight took an unexpected turn as Gerard was using a cursed item. Thankfully Alan arrived on time, and right after him Lydia did too. But as long as Gerard had that item on him he could not die, so taking advantage of that, Tina and Lydia linked their mana with Alan to unleash a supreme level spell. Now that brought up a whole new problem. After watching her younger sister cast the supreme spell, Stellar was buried in worry and collapsed from depression. All this time she had worked like a machine to prove herself and learn supreme level magic, yet her little sister surpassed her. Karen was deeply concerned about her condition and hoped she would recover from the trauma. Later, when Alan was with the headmaster discussing some matters, Stella came in to inform him that her friend Felicia would soon return from her leave. She looked fine on the outside and even the headmaster admired her. Stella was the student council president, but truthfully that position should have gone to Karen. However, because of her beastman blood she was denied that place. In her heart Stella knew this too. She was not as strong as the others, and her father had even opposed her joining the Royal Academy because of her weak mana level. Yet Stella was determined to prove she could become the heir to the dukedom, and against her father's will she enrolled in the academy to study. But the question remained, would she achieve the goal she had set for herself? For now, Felicia returned to the academy and caught up with her friends, and there Stella forced herself to smile while remembering her mother and tried to stay strong. Karen noticed this and it cheers her up and suggested a late-night party just between friends, but Stella refused as she already had plans. She was weighed down by guilt and the crushing realization that her younger sister, who couldn't even use magic until recently, had surpassed her. Even Ellie and Lynn had been able to fight Gerard while she panicked and contributed nothing. This frustration was eating her away. Meanwhile Alan was working hard. He took on the job of helping Howard and Leinster with their business during his free time. But Gil, having some free time himself, he came around to mess with him a bit. During that time he heard a rumor spreading that Alan, after causing a stir, would one day bring disaster to the world. Alan thanked him for the warning and moved on, but outside he saw Stella, still trying to work herself to exhaustion to improve. When Karen suggested going to a cafe, Stella refused so she could continue studying. Meanwhile, Alan opened up to Tina, telling her that there was something within her and he had already heard its voice 3 times. So after some research Alan concluded it must be the ancient power of the legendary frigid crane. Tina panicked at this, but Alan reassured her that he would always stay by her side. Then he called Ellie and Lynn to begin his class. While the girls received Alan's guidance, poor Stella struggled alone to learn the supreme spell until she nearly collapsed. Later when she returned she found tea and cookies prepared for her on the table. Then the next day, the upper clansmen were having a practical session when Felicia dropped her book. As a boy tried to return it she suddenly fainted. Meanwhile, Alan was meeting a merchant regarding Leinster and Howard's business. But the contract that merchant brought was far too shallow. He bluntly said they could figure out the terms and conditions later. Like a fool, Alan, with all due respect, kicked him out. When Felicia heard about it she was devastated. Seeing her so troubled, Karen and Stella convinced her to open up. So Felicia revealed that her father had ruined an important deal with such carelessness. It meant a lot for their business and Felicia had hoped for its success. But due to her schoolwork she had not reviewed the paperwork carefully and this disaster followed. So Karen went to Alan to talk about it, but Alan made a clear line between his professional and personal life. Soon after, the girls arrived with a letter from Anna. It contained the records of the company Alan had dealt with a few years ago. Surprisingly, it showed an abrupt stopping point after gaining good profits. Alan could not figure out why, and Tina guessed that perhaps someone was pulling the strings from behind. Karen took this as her chance to leave, but later she managed to convince Alan to meet Felicia about the business deal. She asked for another chance at negotiations. And Alan realized Felicia was the one who had been making profits in the Foss Merchant Company. When Alan investigated further he found that the company began to decline around the same time Felicia moved to the capital for her studies. Although her name didn't appear in the official paperwork she was highly skilled in business and management. Even so Alan could not act directly, but he did promise to help her as an individual. He explained that the main reason the deal had been rejected was because the Foss company lacked the resources to handle products from both dukedoms. Felicia understood this and the next day she returned with her father after revising the contract. This time, instead of aiming for all the products, she chose only those her company could realistically manage and transport. In addition, she requested the alcohol produced by Howard. This clever move balanced the trade and the deal went on smoothly. Afterwards, Alan met with Lisa to step back from business matters, thinking he was not suited for it, but Lisa refused, pointing out that he was doing well. She also introduced someone to help him out, and that was Felicia. She decided to assist in business and even chose to leave the academy to focus on her career. She broke this news to Stella and Karen as well, and Karen got all teary hearing that her bestie is moving out. Everyone was moving forward with their future except for Stella. Then the following day, Lydia was staying at Alan's place, but she grew angry at him for not doing anything to her. In her frustration, she stood up and Alan saw her from point blank. That was when he warned her that next time he might not hold back. Just when their lovers' quarrel started there, Karen came to the house and broke down in tears because Stella had gone missing. But that's in the next episode, and to watch that, just subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon, or you might miss the next blasting episode. Till then, take care.